expecting at the open?
If we have a look at Rio Tinto shares, we did see a fall on overseas listed markets. If we have a look at Rio Tinto shares in London, they were down by 1.5%, and the US listed American depository receipts were down by 1.3%. But that seems to have been more of a reaction to China's inflation numbers out yesterday, which were a bit larger than expected. In fact, if we have a look at rival BHP Billiton's share price performance in the US, it was quite similar to Rio Tinto's. If we have a look at Rio Tinto's underlying result, it was actually a touch stronger than we expected. It came in at $15.5 billion US dollars, so that's a rise of 11%, and we were expecting $15.3 billion. So if we have a look at the different divisions, the iron ore result, of course, is the most important, making up around about 85% of Rio Tinto's earnings now, and that actually came in line with expectations. We have a look at the aluminium and the copper earnings. They were actually slightly higher than what we expected, while we saw a bit of weakness in the energy coal as well as the diamonds and minerals business. But as you mentioned, Kate, it was the aluminium business which was very much in focus. In terms of aluminium earnings, we actually saw a stronger than expected result. Earnings coming in at $442 million. We were expecting to see $313 million. But of course, it's that massive write-down that we saw, which really surprised the market, and it's the size of the write-down which surprised the market. The aluminium division saw a write-down of $8.9 billion US dollars. The market was expecting more in the vicinity of about $6 billion US dollars, so about 50% more than what the market was expecting there. And that's of course due to the Alcan purchase, which was made before the global financial crisis and before we saw the weakness in commodity prices during the global financial crisis. So a huge write-down there, which the market was focusing in on. If we have a look at Rio Tinto in terms of valuation, so I've seen no brokers downgrade their recommendations on Rio on the basis of this result. In fact, the underlying a lot stronger than expected, and no downgrades this morning to target prices that I've seen at least. And if we have a look at Rio Tinto, it is trading at a discount to BHP Billiton. If we have a look at the forward PE ratio, it's 9.2, around about a 15% discount to Rio Tinto stock. And this is still a strong growth story. It's planning to ramp up its Pilbara operations to 333 million tonnes per annum by about 2015. So altogether, if we have a look at the result, there was a lot to be impressed about. The underlying stronger than expected, the dividend also stronger than expected, the iron ore result coming in line, but that massive write-down, a real surprise to the market, and the shares should trade lower on the back of the overseas performances.
And Julia, Newcrest out just in the past half hour. First half net profit up 50% at $659 million. The gold price helping that one out?
Absolutely. We have a look at the gold price. It's trading above 1,700 US an ounce. And so if we have a look at the cash margins that Newcrest is making on gold at the moment, it is at a record, hovering at about 1,000 US an ounce. So these are massive margins. In fact, the last quarterly update that we saw on the 24th of January, we did see production quite strong, and we saw cash margins, importantly, up by another 1%. So margins are running very strong. If we have a look at this result, the statutory interim profit coming in at $659 million, and the underlying coming in at $611 million. So that's just come out. That's higher than our expectations. We were actually expecting to see a result around about $550 million. They've also increased their dividend by 20%, so that's a positive for investors as well. And of course, investors are going to be watching this Toronto listing that's planned, and it's expected to be completed on schedule by the end of the quarter. So that should be another positive for the shares. If we have a look at the attractiveness of Newcrest mining, it's the low-cost operations that it has, and you can see that in the cash margins that it has, and of course the long life projects it has as well. There is going to be strong growth coming in for this stock, and it's going to come in the form of the Cadia East project, which is around about 65% complete now. When this is completed, it's going to be the biggest underground mine in Australia and the second largest in the world. And the other growth project which should help Newcrest is the Lihir 1 million ounce upgrade. So Newcrest mining coming in ahead of expectations. Gold price is pretty flat overnight, so we should see a positive reaction by the shares.